Good day and God bless. By the way, I'm Mark Jupinyo Lazartis.
And I am Tipan Bejaras. In this video, we are going to discuss the chapter 14 entitled Pricing Concept and Management, Marketing Insight. At the end of this module, we are going to identify the issues related to developing pricing objectives, discuss the importance of identifying the target market's evaluation of price, and explain the importance of demand and the price elasticity of demand.
And describe the relationships among demand, cost, and profits. Explain how markets analyze competitors' prices. Describes the basis used for setting prices. Explain the different type of pricing strategies. And describe the selection of a specific price. Identify 7 methods companies can use to price products for business markets. Price. Price is an integral part of any marketing mix.
So before a product's price can be set, an organization must determine the basis on which it will compete, whether on price alone or some combination of factors.
Price competition. Price competition occurs when a seller emphasizes a product's low price and sets a price that equals or beats that of competitors.
To use this approach most effectively, a seller must have have the flexibility to change prices rapidly and aggressively in response to competitors' actions. While price competition allows a marketer to set prices based on demand for the product or in response to changes in the firm's finances, so can competitors. It is a major drawback of price competitions that competitors can meet the outdoor and organizations price cuts if unforeseen circumstances that force a seller to raise prices do not also affect other firms. Competitors will likely maintain their lower prices.
And non-price competition is competition based on factors other than price. It is used most effectively when a seller can distinguish its product through distinctive product quality, customer service, promotion, packaging, or other features.
However, buyers must be able to perceive these distinguishing characteristics and consider them desirable for non-price competition to be effective. An advantage is that once customers have chosen a brand for non-price reasons, such as unique features, they may not be attracted as easily to competing firms and brands.
There are 8 stages for establishing prices. Number 1, development of pricing objectives, assessment of a target market's evaluation prices, a determination of demand, analysis of demand, cost, and profit relationships. Number 5, evaluation of competitors' prices, selections of a basis for pricing, selection of a pricing strategy, determination of a specific price. Step 1. Development of pricing. Goals to describe what a firm wants to achieve through pricing. Developing pricing objectives is an important task because they form the basis for decisions for other stages of pricing process.
Thus, pricing objectives must be stated explicitly and in measurable terms and should include a time frame for accomplishing them.
A. Survival. One of the most fundamental pricing objectives. This generally means that temporarily setting prices low, even at times below cost, in order to attract more sales.
Because price is a flexible ingredient in the marketing mix, it can be useful in keeping company afloat by increasing sales volume. Most organizations will tolerate setbacks such as short-run losses and internal upheaval if necessary for survival.
B. Profit. Although a business may claim that its objective is to maximize profits for its own owners, the objective of profit maximization is rarely operational because its achievement is difficult to measure.
Therefore, profit objectives tend to be set at levels that the owners end up level decisions makers view as satisfactory and attainable. Specific profit objectives may be stated in terms of either actual dollar amounts or a percentage of sales revenue.
C. Return on investment. Pricing to attain a specified rate of return on the company's investment is a profit-related pricing objective. A return on investment or ROI pricing objectives generally requires some trial and error, as it is unusual for all required data and inputs to be available when setting prices.
Many pharmaceutical companies also use ROI pricing objectives because of the great investment in research and development.
D. Market share. Maintaining or increasing market share need not to depend on growth in industry sales. An organization can increase its market share need to depend on growth in industry, are flat or decreasing.
On the other hand, a firm's sales volume can increase while its market share decreases if the overall market grows. Some companies set prices so they can recover cash as quickly as possible. Financial managers understandably want to recover capital spent to develop products, so choosing the pricing objective may have the support of a marketing manager. If he or she anticipates a short product life cycle, although it may be acceptable in some situations, the use of cash flow and recovery as an objective oversimplifies the contribution of price to profits. If this pricing objective results in high prices, competitors with lower prices may gain a large share of the market.
F. Status quo. Status quo objectives can focus on several dimensions such as maintaining a certain market share, meeting but not beating competitors' prices, achieving price stability, and maintain a favorable public image.
So status quo pricing objective can reduce a firm's risks by helping us stabilize demand for products. A firm that chooses status quo pricing objectives risks minimizing pricing as a competitive tool, which could lead to a climate and price competition. Professionals such as accountants and attorneys often operate in such environment.
And G. Product quality. A price on a product may signal to customers that the product is of high quality. Attaining a high level of product quality also is more expensive for the firm, as the cost of materials, research, and development may be greater. Step 2. Assessment of the target market's evaluation of price. After developing prices objectives, marketers must assess the target market's evaluation of price, despite the general assumption that price is a major issue for the buyers. The importance of price varies depending on the type of product and target market and the purchase situation.
So for instance, buyers are more sensitive to gasoline prices than luggage prices. We purchase gasoline regularly and we notice fluctuations in price. But luggage is an investment and we expect to pay more for it. With respect to the type of target market, adults frequently must pay more than children for goods and services, including clothing, meals, and movie tickets.
Step 3. Analysis of demand. Determining the demand of a product is the responsibility of marketing managers, who are aided in this task by marketing researchers and forecasters.
So marketing research and forecasting techniques yield data such as estimates of sales potential or the quantity of a product that could be sold during a specific period. These estimates help marketers to establish the relationship between the product's price and the quantity demand.
A. Demand curves. For most products, demand and price are inversely related. This means that the quantity demanded goes up as the price goes down and vice versa.
So thus an inverse relationship exists between price and quantity demanded. As long as the marketing environment and buyers' needs, ability or purchasing power, willingness and authority to buy remain stable, the fundamental inverse relationship holds.
B. Demand fluctuations. Consumer demand is influenced by many more factors than just price. Changes in buyers, needs, variation in the effectiveness of the other marketing mix variables, the presence of the substitutes, and dynamic environmental factors can all influence demand.
So restaurants and utility companies experience large fluctuations in demand at different periods throughout the day. Toy manufacturers, fireworks suppliers, and air conditioning and heating contractors face demand fluctuations because of the seasonal nature of their products. For example, flowers are in higher demand in the United States around Valentine's Day and Mother's Day. In some cases, demand fluctuations are predictable. It is no surprise to restaurants and utility company managers that demand fluctuates.
C. Assessing price elasticity of demand. How marketers analyze the target market's conception of price for different products and how that affects the quantity of products sold under Norman prestige demand curves.
So the next step is to assess price elasticity of demand.
Price elasticity of demand provides a measure of the sensitivity of consumer demand for a product or product category to changes in price.
So elasticity is formally defined as the percentage change in quantity demanded relative to a given percentage change in price.
So there's a formula in price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand equals percent change in quality demand over percent change in price. Step 4. Demand, cost, and profit relationships. In marketing environment where consumers can comparison shop for items from retailers across the globe, marketers must be more aware than ever of effects on demand, cost, and profit potential.
So customers have become less tolerant of price increases, putting manufacturers in the position of having to find ways to maintain high quality and low costs. To stay in business, a company must set prices that not only cover costs but also meet customers' expectations for quality, features, and price. In this section, we explore two approaches marketers take to analyze demand, cost, and profit relationships. First, the marginal analysis and break-even analysis.
A. Marginal analysis examines what happens to a firm's costs and revenues when production or sales volume changes by 1 unit.
So both production costs and revenues must be evaluated to determine the cost of production. It is necessary to identify several types of potential costs.
Fixed costs do not vary with changes in the number of units produced or sold.
For example, a manufacturer's rent for a factory does not change because production increases, more employees are hired, or sales go up. Rent may increase, but it is not in relation to production or revenue.
Average fixed cost is the fixed cost per unit produced and is calculated by dividing fixed cost by the number of units produced. Variable costs are directly related to changes in the number of units produced or sold.
The wages for adding a second shift of workers and the cost of inputs to produce twice as much product are variable costs. Because they increase as production increases, variable costs are usually held as many raw materials result in double the production.
Average variable cost. The variable cost per unit produced is calculated by dividing the variable cost by the number of units produced. Total cost is the sum of average fixed cost and the average variable cost multiplied by the quantity produced. Average total cost is the sum of the average fixed cost and average variable cost. Marginal cost is the extra cost a firm incurs when it produces one additional unit of a product. Marginal revenue is the change in total revenue that arises from the sale of an additional unit of a product.
Most firms face downward sloping demand curves for their products. In other words, they must lower their prices to sell additional units. This situation means that each additional unit of product sold provides the firm with less revenue and the previous unit sold, which can
B. Break-even analysis. The point at which the cost of producing a product equal the revenue made from selling the product is the break-even point. Break-even point, the point of which the cost of producing a product equals the revenue made from selling the product. And so there is a formula in break-even point. Break-even point equals fixed cost over per unit contribution to fixed cost equals fixed cost over price variable cost. And there are numbers of $120,000 equals over $40 equals to 3,000 units. Step 5. Evaluation of competitors' prices. In most cases, marketers are in a better position to establish prices when they know the prices charged for the competing brands, which is the next step is establishing the prices.
So learning competitors' prices should be a regular part of marketing research. Some grocery and department stores even employ comparative shoppers who systematically collect data on price. Companies may also purchase price lists from syndicated marketing research services.
Step 6. Selection of a basis for pricing. The sixth step in establishing prices involves selecting a basis for pricing, cost, demand, and or competition. The appropriate pricing basis is affected by the type of product and market structure of the industry, brands, market share positions relative to competing brands, and customer characteristics.
So although we discussed each basis separately in this section, an organization generally considers at least two or perhaps all three dimensions. For example, if a company uses cost as a primary basis for setting prices, its marketers are still aware of and concerned about competitors' prices. If a company uses demand as a basis for pricing, marketers still must consider cost and competitors' prices. Indeed, cost is a factor in every pricing decisions because it establishes a price minimum below which the firm will not be able to recoup its production and other costs. Demand likewise sets an effective price maximum above which customers are unlikely to buy the product. Setting appropriate prices can be a difficult balance for firms.
A high price may reduce demand for the product, but a low price will hurt profit margins and may instill in customers a perception that the product is of low quality. A. Cost-based pricing. A flat dollar amount or percentage is added to the cost of the product, which means marketers apply desired level of profit to the cost of the product.
So cost-based pricing does not necessarily take into account the economic aspects of supply and demand, nor must it relate it just one pricing strategy or pricing objective. If it is a straightforward and easy to implement method, two common forms of cost-based pricing are cost plus and markup pricing.
Cost plus pricing. The seller's costs are determined usually during a project or after a project is completed, and then a specified dollar amount or percentage of the cost is added to seller's cost to establish the price.
When production costs are difficult to predict, cost plus pricing is appropriate.
Markup pricing, commonly used by the retailers. A product's price is derived by adding a determined percentage of the cost, called markup, to the cost of the product. B. Demand-based pricing. When demand-based pricing is used, customers pay a higher price at times when demand for the product is strong and lower price when demand is weak.
For example, hotels often offer reduced rates during periods of low demand, when they have excess capacity in the form of empty rooms.
C. Competition-based pricing. An organization considers cost to be secondary to competitors' prices.
This is a common method among producers of relatively homogeneous product, particularly when the target market considers price to be an important purchase consideration. A firm that uses competition-based pricing may choose to price below competitors' prices or at the same level.
A. New product pricing. Step 7. Selection of a pricing strategy is a course of action designed to achieve pricing objectives, which are set to help marketers solve the practical problems of setting prices.
The extent to which a business uses any of the following strategies depends on its pricing and marketing objectives, the markets of its products, the degree of product differentiation, the product's life cycle stage, and other factors. So the new product pricing has the two primary types of new product pricing strategies are price skimming and penetration pricing. An organization can use one or both over a period of time.
2. 1. Price skimming is a strategy of charging the highest possible price for a product during the introduction stage of its life cycle. 2. Penetration pricing is a strategy of setting a low price for a new product.
The main purpose of setting a low price is to build market share quickly in order to encourage product trial by the target market and discourage competitors from entering the market. If the low price stimulates sales, the firm may be able to order longer production runs, increasing economies of scale and resulting in decreased produced cost per unit.
B. Differential pricing. An important issue in pricing decisions is whether to use a single price or different prices for the same product.
A single price is easily understood by both employees and customers. Since many salespeople and customers dislike negotiating prices, having a single price reduces the risk of a marketer developing an adversarial relationship with customers.
Differential pricing means charging different prices to different buyers for the same quality and quantity of a product.
A recent ruling has cleared the way for vendors to use differential pricing by means of payment. It will allow them to charge more to customers who pay with a credit card versus those who pay with a debit card or cash.
Negotiated pricing occurs when the final price is established through bargaining between the seller and the customer.
Negotiated pricing occurs in a number of industries and at all level of distribution, even when there is a predetermined stated price or a list. Manufacturers, wholesalers, and retailers still may negotiate to establish the final sales price.
Secondary market pricing means setting one price for the primary target and a different price for another market.
Often, the price charged in the secondary market is lower. However, when the cost of serving a secondary market are higher than normal, secondary market customers may have to pay a higher price. Examples of a secondary market includes a geographically isolated domestic market, a market in a foreign country, or a segment willing to purchase a product during of peak times, as early bird diners at the restaurant and off-peak users of cellular phones.
Periodic discounting is the temporary reduction of prices on a pattern or systematic basis.
For example, many retailers have annual holiday sales, and some apparel stores have regular seasonal sale. From the marketer's point of view, a major problem with the periodic discounting is the customers can predict when the reductions will occur and may delay their purchases until they can take advantage of the lower prices.
Random discounting. They reduce their prices temporarily on a non-systematic basis. C. Psychological pricing. Strategies encourage purchases based on consumers' emotional response rather than on economically rational ones.
These strategies are used primarily for a consumer products rather than business products because most business purchases follow a systematic and rational approach. In retail environments, how customers interpret price, fairness, value, and feelings towards price at a particular store after their perceptions at the store's price image as well as their repurchase intentions.
Odd number pricing is the strategy of setting prices using odd numbers that are slightly below whole dollar amounts. Multiple unit pricing. Setting a single price for 2 or more units of a product such as 2 cans for 99 cents rather than 50 cents per can.
Especially for frequently purchased products, this strategy can increase sales through encouraging customers to purchase multiple units when they might otherwise have only purchased one at a time. Customers who see the single price and who expect eventually to use more than one unit of the product will purchase multiple units.
Reference pricing means pricing a product at a moderate level and physical positioning is next to a more expensive model or brand in the hope that the customer will use the higher price as a reference point.
Because of the comparison, the customer is expected to view the moderate price more favorably than he or she would if the product were considered in isolation.
Next, bundle pricing is the packaging together of 2 or more products, usually of complementary nature, to be sold for a single price.
To be attractive to customers, the single price usually is considerably less than the sum of the prices of the individual products. Being able to buy the bundle combination in a single transaction may be of value to the customer, increasing convenience and a sense of value.
Everyday low prices. To reduce or eliminate the use of frequent short-term price reductions, some organizations use an approach referred to as everyday low prices.
When EDLPs are used, a marketer sets a low price for each product on a consistent basis rather than setting higher prices and frequently discounting them.
Customary pricing. Certain goods are priced based on tradition.
Examples of customary or traditional prices would be those set for candy bars and chewing gum. This is a less common pricing strategy now that it was in the past. An example would be the 25 cents gumball sold in a gumball machines. The price has remained at the level for probably as long as you can remember.
D. Product line pricing means establishing and adjusting the prices of multiple products within a product line.
Product line pricing can provide marketers with flexibility in setting prices. For example, marketers can set prices so that one product is profitable whereas another is less profitable but increases market share by virtue of having a low price.
Captive pricing. When marketers use captive pricing, the basic product in a product line is priced low, but the price on the items required to operate or enhance it are higher.
A common example of a captive pricing is the printer ink. The printer is generally priced quite low, but the printer ink replacement cartridges are usually very expensive.
Premium pricing occurs when the highest quality product or the most versatile and most desirable version of a product line is assigned the highest price.
Other products in the line are priced to appeal to price-sensitive shoppers or to those who seek product-specific features.
Price lining is the strategy of selling goods only at certain determined prices that reflect explicit price breaks. E. Promotional pricing, as an ingredient in the marketing mix, often is coordinated with promotion.
The two variables sometimes are so interrelated. The pricing policy is promotional oriented.
Price leaders sometimes affirm prices a few products below, then the usual markup near cost or even below cost, which results in what are known as price leaders.
This type of pricing is used most often in supermarkets and restaurants to attract customers by offering especially low prices on a few items with expectations that they will purchase other items as well.
The special event pricing involves advertised sales or special price cutting linked to a holiday season or event.
If the pricing objective is survival, then special sales may be designed to generate necessary operational capital.
Comparison discounting sets the price of a product at a specific level and simultaneously compares it with a higher price.
The higher price may be the product's previous price, the price of a competing brand, the product's price at another retail outlet, or a manufacturer suggested retail prices. Customers may find comparison discounting informative, so it can have a significant on them.
Step 8. Determination of a specific price. A pricing strategy will yield a certain price or range of prices, which is the final step in the pricing process.
In the pricing process, however, marketers may need to refine this price in order to make it consistent with circumstances such as a sluggish economy and with pricing practices in a particular market or industry.
Step 9. Pricing for businesses, markets.
Many of pricing issues discussed thus far in the chapter deal with pricing with pricing in general. However, setting prices for business products can be quite different from setting prices for consumer products owing to several factors such as high size of purchases, transportation considerations, and geographic issues. In this action, we examine 3 types of pricing associated with business products, which is the geographic pricing, transfer pricing, and discounting.
Geographic pricing strategies deal with delivery cost. Transfer pricing is determined by calculating the cost of the product, which can vary depending on the types of costs included in the calculations. Discounting is a deduction of the price of an item.
Producers and sellers offer a wide variety of discounts to the customers, including trade, quantity, cash, and seasonal discounts as well as allowances. Trade discounts are taken off the list prices and are offered to marketing intermediaries or middlemen. Quantities discounts are given to customers who buy in large quantities. So, that should be all. Again,
Thank you and God bless.
I am Tipan Viras.
I'm Marjo Pinala's artist.
We are taking Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, major in Marketing Management, second year.
Thank you
And God bless.